Hi Spirit Warriors, it's the Tattooed Psychic. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. This is kind of part 2 of the video I made yesterday, which is how I survived trauma using the power of spirit. Now yesterday I just told you one story of how it was the last final draw of my physical abuse in life and how that happened. And I got an email from this beautiful girl named Emily, and she asked if I could go more into detail about what I did to get my strength back and confidence and whatnot. And I'm still working on it, just so everyone knows. But what happened to me was, it's kind of an interesting gateway, really, because when I was healing from the attack of the abuse and going through all that legal stuff, my ex had bought me a camera. This is the beginning of how I started to heal and realize I could heal, okay, again in my life. So he had bought me a camera because I love to take photos. And it's a nice camera. It's older now, but it's a nice Canon camera at the time. And I never really used it, to be honest. I was intimidated by it. And then one day in Austin, Texas, like about 3 or 4 months into the healing process, I was looking at the camera and I thought, why don't I just go take pictures? And then I went and hit the streets of Austin, Texas, and I started seeing people that I thought were beautiful or interesting looking, and I would ask to take their photos. And I started using that camera that he gave me to heal myself through art. That's the beginning of it. I started realizing I had a part of me still in existence, and all I had to do was bring it back to life and remember who I was. That was the first layer of getting to the core of the problem, was doing the work to remember myself. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So that was the first step. But I'll be honest, it took a long time to get all of what worked for me together, and I'm still working on it, like I said. But that was the first step, was to remember that I had creativity, that I had something that no one could take away from me, and that was my artistic side that belonged only to me. And so I played with that, but then I also, I got into a lot of meditation. I started listening to Matt Kahn. I always look for people who are healers that I can relate to and that I can vibrate with. And by some weird chance, somebody I know, I can't remember who, said, "Oh, you should check out this guy, Matt Kahn." And I said, okay, because at that time I was really desperate for anything to come in and help me, right? And so I started listening to Matt Kahn, and I'm like, oh my God, he gets me, I get it. And it really started opening my spirit more. And I started listening to comedy. I started laughing more. I just started creating and piecing together the things that I remember I vibrated with that had nothing to do with the trauma or anything like that. It had to do with me. And there's a lot that went on between. I mean, this took years. Years of really understanding myself. But the final cherry on the cake of Faye's life was the discovery of the man who I credit to so much of saving my life, Joe Dispenza. Now, some people don't know who Joe Dispenza is. You can find him on YouTube and you'll find out. But he's an amazing human being, and I literally listened to Joe Dispenza for 5 to 8 hours a day. His meditations, his studies, his lectures, and I started putting into practice his meditations, his understanding my cellular work, understanding the past trauma, the subconscious mind, that type of thing. I actually took it to a science level to heal myself, because I knew that it wasn't just a spiritual thing, it was a human thing. And to me, human is more science, and spirit is science too, honestly, but it's science and spirit have to work together to make us understand things like how the brain works and how trauma can live inside our cells, how energy lives inside our cells. So I've done a lot of cellular energy work. I've done a lot of subconscious work. I've done a lot of taking myself on dates, a lot of learning how to communicate better with people. I owe, this wonderful woman at work that ability to teach me how to be better in that way. And so I keep learning is how I heal. And I also stay away from toxic people, toxic relationships. I don't allow negativity in my life. I ask people to keep it away from me. I don't want it around me. I don't enjoy it at all. It creates trauma in my life. I'm very much in control of that. That's why I'm alone most of the time. I spend a lot of time alone discovering myself. So those are some of the things I've done. I mean, there's been a lot, but it's been a lot of isolation, a lot of self-awareness, a lot of humbling yourself to look at your own mistakes. It's been a lot of taking power back, not allowing bullies to control my life, not allowing bullies to create fear. But I have it happen. It just happened recently. And but it's about how quickly we roll out of that trauma experience and survivor mode and go into the spirit warrior and survivor mode. Not even survivor mode, but just warrior mode anymore. Because yeah, I survived it all, but when I say I'm a survivor, I'm a warrior, man. I fought through a lot of demons and a lot of negative energy to even just like myself the way I am right now. You know what I mean? So, and I'm dressed up today because some of us won an award at work, and the reward, was going to Teatro Zinzani, a show in Seattle. So I put on, little sparkle today, and gonna go out tonight. That's why I'm dressed like this. And I thought, what a perfect time to make part 2 of the podcast. So, that's a lot of what I did. And to me, because energy, I have to know how energy works, and that's mainly how I'm able to do my work. I understand energy pretty well. It's hard to tell people this, but you really have to face the trauma and remember the pain of it and remember the humiliation of it, because I think oftentimes people who have abuse in their life, they often will not talk about it because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to tell people this happened to me, because people look at me and think, you're so strong, you're so powerful. It can happen to anyone, really. I mean, I think a lot of women have been abused, strong women, and they like to destroy strong women. It makes them feel powerful. A weak woman's easy to control. A strong woman isn't, and that's plain and simple. And so if you can get to that, that's like an award for a narcissist. And so it doesn't matter who you are, these things can happen. And you have to humble yourself. And a big part of healing is that humiliation factor, that facing the humility of yourself and facing what happened to you, and realize you shouldn't be ashamed of it at all. But you have to face it, because it is humiliating to walk around with a black eye, and it's humiliating to go through it, man. It just, unless you go through it, you don't understand, so you can't even explain it to people. And so what I learned, what worked best for me, was that humiliation, humbleness, realizing that I myself became abusive in many situations just by fighting back. Again, facing what you could have done better, facing what really happened to you, really. And you'll never make sense of it, And I think the sooner you realize it'll never make sense, the easier, the healing process becomes. Because abuse never makes sense. It never will. It never has. It never, ever will. It just doesn't. And no one deserves it. And if you think you deserve it, then we really got to get you in healing mode, because you don't. And I would sit there sometimes myself and question, did I deserve this situation? And no, I did not. I did not deserve it. You don't deserve it. Nobody deserves it. And that's... facts. And I think a lot of people who know about domestic violence now, because people talk about it more, know that the effects it have are long term. The effects that my ex did on me are long term, physically and spiritually. But they don't control me anymore, and that's when you reach freedom, is when you face all those demons and you have victory. And it's a beautiful place to be. And sometimes you think, is it lonely being alone, and doing this process? Some people can't handle it, I'll be honest. Some people, that's why they keep repeating the pattern. What I've learned, what works best for me, is that isolation, is me going, wow. And now I take myself on dates. I go out and I entertain myself. I don't need a partner, because I can go take myself anywhere, honestly. And that's what I do, is I go out and I find the things that I want to do, and I enjoy my life. And I think that's the victory, is when you're able to see that you don't deserve abuse, and that you have some dignity and pride. And anyone that comes in and tries to throw abuse at you, you can look at it and say, nope, you've got to go. I'm sorry, it's just not going to work. I'm better than that. And when you can say that with confidence, that's when you have victory. And I say that with confidence. I don't have time for foolishness. It's foolishness. And yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, really crazy. And healing is crazy. It's all crazy. What I've learned about life, it's nuts. Life is nuts, man. I don't care what path you're on. It's a crazy journey. There's so much you can't make sense of. The war, the famines, the disease, the chemicals, just crazy shit, right? You can't make sense of any of it. Why people are lonely when we live in a world full of people makes no sense. Why people are afraid to heal, why people are afraid to face the demons, why people are afraid to walk away from abuse, why people are afraid to live their life, their best dreams, why people are afraid of this, why people are afraid of that. It's fear, fear, fear. It's just constant, especially when you're a narcissist, they live off of fear. It just feeds that energy, and it's crazy, man. And when people say, how do you navigate through it? That's how, is I spend time alone, and I focus on the inside. How I can be better, how I can learn, how I can teach, how I can be just a better person. I'm definitely not a saint. I'm definitely not, thriving to be, a saint, but I just want to be better so I can be happy in life, Fuck. The first few years of my life were just, constant, have been hell. And I want the last part of my life to be good. Great. Happy. Best it can be. And I had to look at myself and how am I going to get that? Well, first I have to stop dating these alcoholic narcissists, but also I have to heal that part of me that attracts that and accepts it. And that was humbling. And so a big part of healing is humbling, and letting go and seeing the truth. And not blaming yourself, and realizing you're not a bad person for fighting back. You did. It's an actual natural reaction. And now, what's really cool about the victorious part of healing is hold on. I don't know who that is, but I'm going to let it keep ringing. But the victorious part of healing is when you can walk away from any part of you that... Sorry, this is really distracting me. Sorry. I get my phone here. Silence it. Podcasting. Okay, and when you get to that point where you just will not tolerate any foolishness in your life, it's very victorious. You have freedom. when you get to that point where you realize that what happened to you is really sad. It's okay to feel sad for yourself. It's okay to cry about it and say, man, I can't believe that happened to me. And that was part of my healing, was just crying and sobbing about, you know, my childhood, and crying and feeling the pain of having somebody I thought I loved and could help just, you know, hurt me like that so many times. So many people I gave love to that hurt me, and then accused me of being a bad person, because I'm a strong bitch when I fight back. I mean, I can hurt you with my words real well, and because I'm a psychic and I can see stuff, but I don't like to do it, and I don't do it anymore. Now and this is the cool part about being victorious, is you don't fight back anymore. You know, you just go, okay. When somebody wants to fight you, you just walk away, and you just don't allow it on you, and just go, okay. Okay, whatever you say. So let's draw some cards. I hope all that makes sense. So part of healing is humbling, accepting the reality of what happened to you, not blaming yourself, feeling bad when it's necessary, sharing your story with others. That's really important. That was a part of my journey. That's why I keep doing these YouTubes. And not even blaming everyone. You're not even blaming people, but just, I don't blame my ex for things. I allowed him in my life. I kept trying to help him. It was partially my fault too, because I put up with it. And that's humbling to say too, right? You wonder why I did. I don't know. I don't even have that answer. And I quit trying to figure it out. I really did. Because I would never have that answer. Just like trying to get my mother to love me. It was just never going to happen. It was just not part of my journey. And so, that is the story. Oh, and part two. So Emily, if you're watching this, I hope it helped. You know, go on YouTube. YouTube is a great source to find healers that can help you, or people who you enjoy how, you know, they healed themselves. You want to do it too. You know, listen to their stories. Listening to stories, sharing stories, building community. We're going to draw a card. Courage. Spirit. Whenever I get excited about spirit, I start dancing and singing. Spirit. Be courageous. Stand up for your beliefs. Bam! That's how you do it, babies. Look at her. Woo! Mama. So, yeah. Kind of flowing what we said. Be courageous. Stand up for your beliefs. It's okay. When you're courageous, you have victory. You don't have to be an asshole to be courageous. Courageous doesn't mean you fight people. Courageous means you fight with victory and love and understanding and truth, right? I have the truth will set you free tattooed down my throat. I believe that. So let's draw another card. Don't you love the ruffles on this dress? Look at that. Oh, I gotta cut this. Look at that. Reminded me of my friends in the 80s. Time to ground. So some of you, a way to heal also is to do grounding work. And it is time to ground. I know for me, I have to do a lot of grounding work right now. I don't know where the moon is. I heard we had a full moon. I haven't been watching, to be honest. People think I'm spiritual, and oh, there's ringing. Somebody's here. Sometimes when you hear ringing, thank you, Spirit. What was I even saying? Now I'm all distracted. See how easily I get distracted? That happens. If you work with Spirit, you know sometimes that ringing in your ears, they activate you. Maybe they want me to draw more cards, but you know, it is time to ground. You think oh, that's what it was. If you think I'm a spiritualist and I watch the moon, I'm so distracted sometimes that I forget to check the moon. But then when I start feeling certain ways, I go, oh, the moon must be in a place, and then I look and it is. But I did hear we had a full moon. These cards, sorry. Challenge your perception. Ooh, I love it. Like, oftentimes when we live in trauma, or we live in survival mode or reactionary mode because of the trauma, we go inside our head, and we have to challenge our perception of things and know that there are forces outside of us, and that what we're perceiving inside isn't necessarily what's going on outside. I hope that makes sense. And now they want me to draw another one. Thank you, Spirit. Brilliant idea. Yes, your idea is divinely good. Please take action to bring your idea to fruition. I don't know who this card is for. Could be for me, could be for you. I'm trying to think if I've had any good ideas lately, except healing and grounding. So if you have an idea and you want to bring it to fruition, Spirit's saying do it now. And that's the whole thing about healing trauma. You become more aware of your ability to create your dreams, more freedom, more sense of joy. And the fear kind of starts fading away if you do it correctly. But it takes time. And here's the thing. This took me, 8 years so far. It's about 8 years ago, yeah. That to get to even this point. And so it didn't happen for me overnight. And I'm still healing. I'm still reacting to things, not in a negative way, but in a sad way when I feel attacked. I get sad, not mad. And so I learn how to process that now. And so, and because I'm fearful that, I don't want to, it's trauma is an interesting energy, and I've learned so much. But when you become fearful, all that can come back. But then what I've noticed is I do have that reaction still, but I can get control of it quicker. So it's just a process of understanding your trauma, really understanding it, and getting to know it personally. If that means being alone for a while, do it, because if you keep getting distracted by more trauma or more drama, it's not going to work. It just won't. It's an energy, and the energy has to manifest itself out, and it can't do it if you keep feeding it drama and trauma. It just can't, because how can you get rid of drama and trauma if you keep feeding it? It just won't go away. So you have to stop feeding it. And that's what I did, basically. And now I just got to quit feeding the voices in my head. Right? All right, so one more. Harmony. We are opening the doors for everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. Whew, I needed that one. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Spirit, for that. So if you're having a tough time, everything's being resolved. And that's the cool part about Spirit. If you work with Spirit, they resolve things for you. So I hope all that made sense. I got to go finish getting ready for my dinner tonight. I just wanted to share with you part 2 of my survivor story, my trauma healing and how I did it. And Emily, I hope that helps. If you have any more questions, Emily, reach out to me, and I would love to chat with you again. Have a beautiful day, everyone. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment if you wish. And you can reach me at readingswithfaye@gmail.com. Eventually, I'm going to start booking more guests. I'm just trying to still settle into the new environment. But love you all. I hope you're doing well.